Sathira Manachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kundra Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kundra Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kundra Bihari Jaya Vishnu Paparamahams Parivrajacharya Ashtarushta Shri Mars Divine Grace K.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Rajagrantha Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Ki Samveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Daye Gopinamanandi All glories to the Srimad Devotees All glories to the Srimad Devotees All glories to the Srimad Devotees All glories to Shri Shri Gauranga O Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya O Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya O Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya yenopaśāntir bhūtānām ullakānām apīhatām antarhito ntar-hr daye kasmān veda nāśis yenopaśāntir bhūtānām ullakānām apīhatām antarhito ntar-hr daye kasmān veda nāśis Mothers, Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: when the Lord, out of his natural compassion, thinks of his devotee, by that process only are all desires of the neophyte devotee fulfilled. The Lord is situated in every living entity's heart, although the living entity may be very insignificant. The Lord knows everything about the living entity, including all his desires. Although we are very insignificant, why should the Lord not know our desires? Purport: a very advanced devotee does not think himself advanced. He is always very humble. The Supreme Personality of Godhead and his plenary expansion as the Paramatma or Super Soul sits in everyone's heart and can understand the attitudes and desires of his devotees. The Lord also gives opportunity to the non-devotees to fulfill their desires as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Mata shmitir yenopaśāntir cha. Whatever living entity desires, however insignificant he may be, is noted by the Lord, who gives him a chance to fulfill his desires. If the desires of the non-devotee are fulfilled, why not those of the devotee? A pure devotee simply wants to engage in the service of the Lord without material desire, and if he wants this within the core of his heart, where the Lord is situated, and if he is without ulterior motive, why should the Lord not understand? If a sincere devotee renders service to the Lord or to the archer Vigraha, the form of the Lord, all his activities prove successful because the Lord is present within the heart and understands his sincerity. Thus, if a devotee with all confidence goes on discharging the prescribed duties of devotional service, he will ultimately attain success. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Ajnantimirandasya Giranjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Litam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manopishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyareva Cha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. The prachetas are praying, saying here, ullakānām apīhatām. Although we are very much fallen, ullakānām, Prabhupada has translated as very much fallen. Api. So although we are very much fallen, what is the indication that one is very much fallen? Ihatām. I have so many desires for exploitation. The material world means the land of exploitation. Krishna is told that in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7. The material realm is a land of exploitation. It is a realm where living entities are trying to devour one another. Prahlāda Maharaj has prayed like this in his prayers from the Shingaday. He says that due to my fruitive activity, karma, I've taken birth in this material world, which is intolerable. But it's more intolerable because I'm surrounded by demons. And the word that's used there, I don't remember, I actually brought it, but I'm not going to read the thing, I'm tired today. The word that he uses is, I'm surrounded by living entities who are constantly trying to devour one another. So the material realm, the material plane means a plane of exploitation. So he said, I'm very much fallen, ullakānām, although very much fallen, due to having so many desires for exploitation in so many gross and subtle ways. Still, you are residing in my heart. Antarhito, daye. You are residing in the core of our hearts. The prachetas are taking very humble mood because they're very humble. It's not that they're just trying to set up example for us, but they're actually also very humble. And although very advanced, in a great humble mood, they're considering themselves to be one amongst many jivas who are fallen and having so many material desires. So they're praying this way, that although we are very much fallen because we are having so many desires for exploitation, still you are residing in our hearts also. And you very well know what is our desires. You very well know what is our desires. So Krishna is in the heart of all the living entities as the super soul. And he reciprocates with all living entities in terms of fulfilling their desires. Prabhupada's quoting Gita. But his mood of reciprocation depends on the attitude in which we approach the Supreme Lord. Everyone is serving the Supreme Lord. Some people understand that and some people don't. But those who don't understand, then they are captured by sinful reactions. This is a statement of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So everyone cannot but serve the Supreme Lord. We say this, that this Sanatana Dharma of all the jivas is eternal servitude to Krishna. Jivera Swarupoye Krishna Nityadas. But someone may say that, okay, I can see that we are eternally servants because we have to render some service to someone. Cat, dog, everyone serves their dogs very nicely, better than they say the dog is the only member of the family that everyone likes. So everyone serves dog very nicely. Everyone's serving boss, spouse, etc. So one may say, they may accept, I am the eternal servant. I am eternally, constitutionally speaking, I am servant. But I'm not eternal servant of Krishna because I'm not serving Krishna. We don't see so many people serving Krishna. So someone may put up that philosophical doubt. How are we? I can accept we are constitutionally servants, but not constitutionally servants of Krishna. But the fact of the matter is, everyone is approaching Krishna. It is not possible not to approach Krishna because Krishna is everything by dint of Krishna expanding his various energies, which are non-different from himself. So everyone is serving Krishna. Either they're serving him through the internal energy or they're serving him through the external energy, but everyone is serving Krishna. That's a fact. So so the Supreme Lord, who's in the heart of everyone, knows the desires of everyone. And he knows how the living entity is approaching him. And according to the living entity's approach to him, then Krishna reciprocates accordingly. Krishna says that also. According to the living entity's attitude towards him, then Krishna is reciprocating. So he fulfills all the desires of everyone. So the devotee is not special in that sense because he's also fulfilling the desires of the non-devotees. So what is the difference? One may say, then why become devotee? One may be thinking that, why I should become devotee since the Lord is with equal eye fulfilling the desires of everyone? Because how the Supreme Lord reciprocates is completely different. When one is in the attitude of a devotee and one is not in the attitude of a devotee. We were also hearing that yesterday. Bhava Grahi Janardana. According to his attitude, then he will reciprocate. So here it is mentioned, if one is a non-devotee, then the Supreme Lord, fulfills their desires. But the nature of material desire is that it is never satisfied. So it's also, although he fulfills their desire, the nature of it is not satisfied. Therefore, how can one be happy when they're dissatisfied? Krishna's also told this thing, that who is a poor person? Who is poor person? Who is rich person? What is the difference? How can you understand who is a poor person and who is a rich person? And Krishna is told in the Bhagavatam, a poor person is one who is dissatisfied. Such a person is called poor. Even if one has great, great opulence, if he is unhappy, if he is dissatisfied, then how can he be said to be in a very nice position? Just like Hiranyakashipu, he is a Acharya Dev for all materialistic persons because his position was ideal for any materialistic disposition. Just by the movement of his eyebrow, Indra and Lord Brahma and other devatas will come and offer their obeisances. Even if we request someone to offer their obeisances, they don't. They'll chastise you. You're most puffed up. But just by the movement of his eyebrow, devatas would come. He would look at the rivers and they would just offer all their finest minerals, pearls, and so many things. That would be a nice facility. Now they're working so hard to dig up things. But Hiranyakashipu would just look, and then all the nice minerals would be coming and so on. There's one verse in the Bhagavatam that I always appreciated, that it said he had all types of dear sense gratification. That means whatever sense gratification is dear to you, he could immediately have it. Wouldn't that be a nice facility? we have to usually struggle hard for the dear sense gratification, isn't it? Like sex life. People are working so hard, like asses, 12 hours a day working. Why? Just to maintain their sex life. As soon as there should be no sex, they become materially unenthusiastic. Oh, no sex life is there? Why should I work so hard? So they're working hard for their sex life, but Hiranyakashipu didn't have to do that. Whatever was dear to him, immediately it came to him. And that's a pretty good facility. Better than that, he could enjoy that sense gratification as much as he wanted. There was a verse that comes in the 4th chapter of the 7th canto. That's even better facility. If you have all types of dear sense gratification, but you can only enjoy so much. Suppose I want carrot cake. Boom, carrot cake is there. But how many slices you can take? 1, 2 slices. If you take 4, you'll throw up. So you cannot enjoy it unlimitedly. But Hiranyakashipu at that facility, he can eat the whole cake and have another one manifest. And he didn't. This verse is mentioned like that in the 7th canto, Bhagavatam. So he had all types of dear sense gratification. He can enjoy it as much as he wanted, but still he was not satisfied. So he was such an unhappy person. He is the emperor of the whole universe, that was also mentioned. He's emperor of the whole universe, has all types of dear sense gratification. He can enjoy it as much as he wants, but still he is dissatisfied. So how can that be said to be an auspicious position? And then he got so envious of Prahlad Maharaj, because Prahlad Maharaj's position is just the opposite. He being tortured, being deprived of sense gratification. Suppose we are deprived of sense gratification, immediately we become agitated. Just like during prasadam time. If you were serving out some very nice preparation, like let's say cake or something. You serve out a very nice preparation, and then you see the line is not getting short. What's going on? Okay, serving. So how many more people are there? It's still the same length as it was before. What is this? Then immediately you start breaking the cake pieces in half. Go. Can I get that? Go. Don't say anything, And then you look, line is still long. You break it in quarters, You become disturbed. This is such a simple thing. This is how conditioned we are. We're so conditioned, we become immediately disturbed. Prahlad Maharaj is being deprived of sense gratification. That itself feels like a torture for us. Just like if we're asked to serve out the prasadam, it feels like a torture for us. Or even worse than that, after the festival, go and clean the pots. At first you walk with a lot of confidence, then when you see the kitchen, then you feel like you're being tortured. And that's just if you're deprived of sense gratification. Prahlad Maharaj was deprived of sense gratification, and also he was being tortured practically by his father. But he was so blissful. Prabhupada says Prahlad itself means prasannatma, fully joyful. The word Prahlad, Brahma Bhuta prasannatma. He was fully joyful. So Hiranyakashipu's position, he has everything materially speaking. He can get all types of dear sense gratification and enjoy it as much as possible. He is unhappy. Prahlad Maharaj is being tortured. He's deprived of sense gratification, and he's completely blissful. And Hiranyakashipu couldn't tolerate it. This is intolerable. You're going to tolerate it. So Krishna was reciprocating with both personalities, actually. He was reciprocating with both personalities. He was reciprocating with the desire of Prahlad Maharaj. He was also reciprocating with the desire of Hiranyakashipu. But that reciprocation with Hiranyakashipu was dissatisfying. Because that is the nature of material desire. That Krishna may fulfill your material desire, but it never gets satisfied. Avritam Gyanam Etena. What is that? Avritam Gyanam Etena Ganinas Nityaverina Kamarupena Kontaya Dushparena Analena Cha. Bhagavad Gita. That the nature of lusty desire, material desire, is that it covers one's pure knowledge that he is not this material body. So his knowledge is covered, and then that's the first phase. I always say this thing. This is a very cruel torture in the material world. First torture is that one's pure knowledge is covered. His avritam jnana, his pure knowledge is covered. Second torture is it creates a strong agitation in the heart, burning sensation in the heart. Oh, I need sense gratification. Just like if you're sick and you can only eat, like sometimes devotees, we have to eat, take small plates. We get restricted. And suppose French fries come out like yesterday. French fries is a ashram favorite. French fries and pizza. Wonderful. But you got specific doctor's instruction. You cannot take pizza or French fries. Then all devotees are enjoying around you. You want some? Nah. You suffering greatly. Suffering greatly. Isn't it? If you have one French fry also, you will be finished. Suppose the doctor said like that. So fragrance is coming, and you can see also, everyone's going, oh, this is excellent. This is the best pizza I ever had. Hearing also. So this great agitation is in the heart. And then if you should try to satisfy it, does not get satisfied. Krishna says, third effect of material desire. First effect is it covers one's pure knowledge. Second effect is it creates a heavy agitation in the heart. Third effect is it cannot be satisfied. So then such a person is called poor. He's a poor person. Even if you have everything, if you don't have satisfaction, then you are a poor person. Isn't it? That is true also in the devotional realm. Any realm, this is a principle. If you have so much, just like devotees, we have so much, but we are always dissatisfied because we are mental, everyone mental platform. Then you are a poor person, actually. Poor person. If you have so much, then you're a poor person. So when Krishna reciprocates with the materialistic persons, he keeps them as poor persons. But because that's their desire. So he's reciprocating with it, but they remain poor. So how is it such a nice thing? Of course, Krishna is neutral. Because Prabhupada says this thing, if one takes an impersonal disposition towards Krishna, then he does not take any personal interest. So desiring materially means seeing Krishna impersonally. That's what it means to have material desire. We don't see Krishna as a person, therefore we don't care to satisfy Krishna. So if one takes such an impersonal disposition towards Krishna, then he does not take any personal interest. He's neutral. So udasinavad, just like the judge. If you have to go to the court, the judge is not against you or for you. He's neutral. There are laws governing the state, and if you break the law, then he punishes you. And if you do something nice, then he awards you. But he is not against or for you. It's just neutral. So Krishna, when one is taking an impersonal disposition towards Krishna, then Krishna does not take any personal interest. He remains neutral. So according to the laws of nature, you have so many desires, and you deserve something also. Two things, desire and deserve. Not just desire. People say, I thought Krishna, gives me what I desire. That's true, but also what you deserve. So you desire, so many things, but you also deserve to be, severely punished. So he has to make a combination of the two. Oh, you deserve to be severely punished, but you want some instant enjoyment also. So that is available. Worm and stool body combination. You get your little enjoyment, and you get to eat stool. And the worm and stool thinks this is excellent. Pakka preparation. He thinks like that. But it's actually a punishment. And also for the worm, he is dissatisfied. No matter how much stool he eats, it is not sufficient. It is not sufficient. Because that is the nature of material desire for any of the living entities in any of the bodies. That is the nature. So, if we desire materially, if we are impersonal towards Krishna, he will certainly reciprocate with our disposition, but we remain poor. So how is that a good proposition? If I say to you, I will reciprocate with you in such a way that you remain poor, then who will be enthusiastic to take such a proposition? But that is most of the jivas because we are in ignorance. We are greatly fallen. Ullakānām. We are greatly fallen on account of this material desire. Evam janam nipatitam prabhavahi kupe kamam bikamam anuya prapatan prasanga. Prahlad Maharaj prays like this also. He says that also I am greatly fallen. Why? Because I have fallen to the dark well. Prabhavahi kupe. Prabhupada in a lecture on this verse says, I have fallen into the dark well of the material body. Prabhavahi kupe, dark well of the material body, which is surrounded by venomous serpents called the senses. I have fallen into the dark well of the material body, and is surrounded by venomous serpents called the senses, and they are victimizing me. How are they victimizing me? Kasmān desire after desire after desire. Just when you walk, If you shall walk in the land of exploitation, when you walk in the land of exploitation, all the senses are fully, especially in human form of life, powerful to victimize you. Krishna says that even one of the roaming senses of which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. That means it's not hard to fall down. That's the meaning of the verse, the purport. It's not hard to fall down. Even one of the roaming senses, and my senses naturally roam, isn't it? Naturally roam. As soon as someone comes and rings the chimes, wind bells, immediately everyone's head, or at least the mind, the head turns in the mind, but I have to look like serious, don't look. But, one is quite curious. Because that is the nature. The senses are always roaming. They're always roaming. And when one roams in the material world, the senses victimize one by desire after desire after desire after desire. That's how one becomes victim of material desires. And then that effect comes. Desire after desire, it covers one's pure knowledge. Again, the same routine. It creates great agitation in the heart, and it can never be satisfied. And then you continue roaming, and then you continue victimized by material desires. So Prahlad Maharaj prays like, I fall into this dark well, the material body, and which is surrounded by the venomous serpents of the senses, and they're victimizing me by desire after desire after desire. So this is called bad association. Prasanga. Prahlad Maharaj said, I'm in very bad association. What is that bad association? The association in body and mind. It's bad sangha. Sometimes one thinks, I will not associate with the devotees, I will not associate with the karmis, alone I will do everything. But you're already in bad association. Your body is itself bad association. The body is itself bad association. Like Bhadra Haribhur was telling in Gita Nagari, he said, you want to chant alone? He said, that would be nice if it was just you alone. He said, that would be nice. But it's not. We're not alone. We have senses and mind. Just like sometimes, don't mind what I'm about to say, but sometimes someone may ask us, someone asks Ayendra Prabhu this, that way no pressure comes on me. Someone asked Ayendra Prabhu this question. They said, he was a brahmachari this time, I believe. Why don't you get married? Ayendra Prabhu said, I already have 11 wives. The 5 knowledge-acquiring senses, the 5 working senses in the mind. Already I have 11 wives. I don't need 12, or maybe 24, because she also has. That would be a foolish thing. So he was telling like that as a brahmachari. Already I have 11 wives. I don't need 12. And these 11 wives create great difficulty. Prahlad Maharaj also explains this. One wife pulling this way, tongue pulling. One wife pulling this way with the eyes. One wife pulling this way. And this way one is victim, desire after desire. So yeah, I'm very much fallen. Prahlad Maharaj says this thing. And due to ignorance, I continue to go on being victimized. That is a foolishness. It's like if you go to a place where you know you're going to get abused, and you continue to remain in such an abusive relationship, then you call as the most foolish person. Sometimes you see that happens, someone is in an abusive domestic relationship, and let's say the lady or something, she gets like a black eye, and but I love him. And he's going to chastise, what a nonsense, I still love him. She goes back to him again, other eye, she comes back, other eye is black, and I still love him like anything. Well, why are you coming to me? Nonsense. This is nonsense. You remain in an abusive relationship. But due to great ignorance, this is actually what is happening to the jiva. We're choosing on our own accord to remain in an abusive relationship. The relationship of the material concept of life, bodily concept of life, allowing ourselves to become victim by material desires one after another. So long as we shall remain in this ignorance. So Krishna, who is in the heart, antarhito, daye, he's in the core of the heart, kasmān nāśis. He certainly knows the desires of everyone. And he's reciprocating. Okay, they want to remain in an abusive relationship. I'll reciprocate with them. I'll fulfill their material desire, but they shall remain poor as a result. Because that is the nature. It is not Krishna being cruel. That is the nature of material desire itself. Just like if you touch fire and it's burning, it burns you, that is not fire's cruelty. It's the nature of fire. So similarly, you want to maintain material desires, one wants to maintain material desire. So the nature of that is you have to remain poor. in the form of a dissatisfied heart. So the devotee, he's intelligent. How did he become intelligent? So that is also explained by Prahlad Maharaj. Kritvatmasa shurashina bhagavan grihita soham katam nivasaje tavabritya sevam. He's praying to Lord Nrsingadev. He's seeing God himself, direct perception. And he prays to the Lord. I already told the first part of the prayer. I am being victimized in this way. But my spiritual master, Srila Narada Muni, has kindly, how do you say, captured me and made me like himself. He's kindly grabbed me and made me like himself. Rich person. Why is he a rich person? Because he has spiritual desire. The desire to satisfy Krishna. Bhakti. Bhakti means the desire to satisfy Krishna. So Narada Muni grabbed me and made me like himself. How did he do that? He spoke to me. It's not so magical in that sense. It's greatly magical, but it is so magical that you cannot appreciate it. Just like someone asked Srila Prabhupada, it was a time Prabhupada was coming, many yogis and all these people were coming. So they asked Srila Prabhupada, do you have any mystic, powers? And Srila Prabhupada went like this, All his disciples were sitting there in front. And Srila Prabhupada, this is my mystic power. I turned all these hippies into happies. And they said, Jai Srila Prabhupada. that is my mystic power, because it's a very difficult thing to do. Because the victimization of material desire is so deep that even if a living entity comes to know of the position, he still does not abandon it. He still does not give it up. Jata Shraddha Makatasu Nirvina Samrakaramasu Veda Dukatmakam Kaman Prityage. He Anishvara, Krishna says this also in the Bhagavatam, that they've awakened faith in my narrations. They're disgusted with material sense gratification. They actually disgusted. Why? Because they already had 2, 3, too many breakups. So they're disgusted. This material sense gratification is useless. And they know if I go for it, it will lead to misery also. Veda Dukatmakam Kaman. They know it will lead to misery. Still, they cannot give it up. They cannot give it up. Because they're Anishvara, they're so conditioned. They're not in control. So that is the situation that the living entities, even if they come to know of their plight, still they allow themselves to remain victimized. So it is not an easy thing to transform someone's heart. We heard this verse yesterday. Even when chanting Hare Krishna, even in Sangha, one does not chant properly, does not associate properly, then the heart remains like iron. And Krishna is a butter thief, not an iron thief. Butter thief, not an iron thief. He doesn't like iron. You don't go to Krishna's house and you see barrels of iron. He said barrels of butter. So it's mentioned like this: if the heart is soft like butter, then Krishna will steal it. It doesn't have anything to do with iron heart. But our heart is like iron heart because of being victimized by material desires. And we don't chant Harinam properly, we don't associate properly, it remains like iron heart. So when Srila Prabhupada said, this is my magic, it is really true. But it may be hard to appreciate. Because generally, others cannot appreciate how others are being transformed, unless they're a little conscientious. But that was Prabhupada's power. So Prahlad Maharaj prays like that also. Kritatmasa Shurashina Bhagavan. My spiritual master, Srila Narada Muni, he captured me and made me like himself. How? By speaking to me. By speaking to me, my intelligence awakened. Kasmān dīna katina katida palita durna deshas. Tesham jata mayi nakaruna na trapa no pashanti. Usre gyaitan ata yatupate sampatam lapta buddhis. Usre gyaitan. Kasmān dīna katina katida palita durna desha. There is no end to the unwanted orders of my lusty desires. No end. We have experience. No end. They're like, I always joke about this verse, they're like cruel bullies. Bullies, they demand your lunch money. Some of us have experience of this in middle school or high school. They demand your lunch money, you give the lunch money, and they also beat you up. The reason for giving the lunch money is so they don't beat you up. So they demand it also. So you give the lunch money with the hope they will not beat you up. So that a nice bully will not beat you up because you gave the lunch money. But a cruel bully, he takes so much money, and he also beats you up. This is lusty desires. We try to satisfy them. Not tesham jata mayi nakuruna natrapa nopashanti. I've tried to satisfy my lusty desires. I never hesitated to satisfy my lusty desires. I felt no shame in trying to satisfy my lusty desires, but they are cruel bullies. Even I have done that, again, another desire, just whipping. Ushre gaitanata yadupate sampatam lotabudis. But today, I'm giving them up. Ushre gaitan yadupate. He's praying to the Lord of the Yadu dynasty. Krishna, today I am giving them up. Why? Sampatam labdabhutis, because my intelligence has been awakened. How did your intelligence get awakened? Oh, I heard from a devotee, and he spoke very nicely to me, very compassionately, out of his own accord. I didn't do anything to actually merit his speaking so much nice katha in my ear, but he kindly agreed to incessantly pour the nectar of Hari Katha down my ear. Even I didn't want to hear that. He moved my hand. You hear this? No. You hear this? I didn't want to hear. Of course, in Prahlad's situation, he was actually in the womb. So he was a captive audience. He was, literally speaking, captive audience. But we're not so captive. I don't want to hear. The devotee keeps on speaking. Hari Katha, as a result of hearing the Hari Katha, at one point I became sincere and my intelligence awakened. Soham Katam Nivrisajay Tava Vritti Sevam. Therefore, my first duty is to serve my spiritual master. He's praying the Lord Nrsimhadev. That's serious business. Offering prayers to Lord Nrsimhadev is not a joke, because Lord Nrsimhadev, even Lakshmi, all the devatas and siddhas and charanas and vidyadharas, they all tried to offer prayers to Lord Nrsimhadev, and they were offering prayers and he was not getting satisfied. So then Lord Brahma said, Lakshmi, that's your husband, you try. She said, no, I'm going over there. It's this guy like, yeah, I ain't going over there. I'm messing with that, Out of Leela, it is mentioned she never saw such a form like that before. So, yeah, you're messing with that. It looks dangerous. It's a fact, actually. I oftentimes joke that if Lord Nrsimhadev were to just manifest while we were singing the prayer, we would all get up and start running. We would run. It'd be scary. We would not say, Namaste. We'd be nervous. Why would we get nervous? Nrsimhadev's form was very ferocious. Even Lakshmi herself felt uncomfortable approaching. They said, Prahlad, you go. You only the reason he's coming. You go. So, and then Prahlad Maharaj offered this prayer to Lord Nrsimhadev that I was so much very fallen. I had so much bad sangha. I was victimized, like in this way, as I've already described. But my spiritual master kindly grabbed me and forced Hari Katha down my ear in such a way that I liked it. And my intelligence awakened, and I gave up such abusive relationship with the gross body and mind, subtle mind. And therefore my first duty is to satisfy him. So Krishna's in the heart of the devotee, that's what's being mentioned here, also of the materialistic person. But when he sees that someone has developed the eagerness to hear from his devotees, then Krishna cleanses the heart of all misfortune. There's so many verses like that. We know from the Bhagavatam, Shrīmad Swakata Krishna, Punya Shavana Kirtan. That's one verse. So many verses are like that. The pollution is in the heart, and no one has the power to actually remove that pollution but the Supreme Lord. No one has the power. There's so much now science, they say we are so advanced, and they can see that our whole society is being victimized by excessive lust, envy, greed, anger, etc. So why don't they create something that can remove those things? That would be very commendable. They create like the new, country blaster, some new bomb that can wipe out a whole city in less than 4 minutes. And they say, we are becoming advanced. Just see. I've created such a wonderful thing. But we're being so much excessively victimized by lust, anger, greed. And why don't they create something for that? Because they cannot. They know they cannot. It's not possible. The pollution is in the heart and the consciousness, and the only person who can remove that is the Supreme Lord himself, who is situated in that place, in the heart. And when will he remove those things from the heart? For that person he sees who developed the eagerness to hear Prabhupada just mentioned, this is basic philosophy. When one develops the eagerness to hear, then the Supreme Lord in the heart removes all such contamination. So many verses are there like that. Pravishta karnarandrena. What is that? Swanam bhavasoro ruham. Dhanoti shamalam Krishna. Salilasi yatasharat. When one develops the eagerness to hear, then the soundbite incarnation of the Supreme Lord, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Harikatha, enters inside the ear, into the chamber of the heart, and it sits on the devotee's bhava, bhava suroruham. We were hearing that Krishna's bhava Grahya Janardana yesterday. So everyone has bhava. Everyone has, bhava is the only thing that can contact Krishna in this world. No one's mind can contact Krishna. No one's offerings with the gross body can contact Krishna. Only one's seva bhavana, his service mood, can contact Krishna. That's the only thing that can contact Krishna. So everyone has bhava. Nitya siddha Krishna prema sadhya kabunoi. Everyone has bhava. That's what the verse is actually describing in that context. But our bhava is being captured by lust, anger, greed, like this. So when one develops sincerity to hear, then Krishna in the heart kicks out all these nasty things that has captured one's bhava. He kicks out, psh, 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 psh. Like Vamandev. I always tell like this, when Ravana came to Sutala, where Bali Maharaj resides. So Vamanadeva is doorkeeper of Bali Maharaj, that is the reciprocation with his devotee. So Ravana came there to conquer that place, and when he saw Vamanadeva, Vamanadeva, I'm the doorkeeper, I am the protector. You're the protector? He's like this tall. What will you protect, So Ravana thought he was going to barge in there, and Vamanadeva gave one kick with his toe, and Ravana went flying across the universe, So that person has very powerful toes. I'm not going to mess with that, He didn't come back to that place. So similarly, Krishna's in the heart, and he kicks out all these things from the heart. For which person? For that person who's developed the sincerity to hear from his devotee. Then to that person, he kicks out all these nasty things, and one develops pure devotional desire in the heart, and as a result of that, he will ultimately attain success. So all success comes from the process of sincerely hearing from the devotees of Krishna. This verse I quoted the other day, Tatra Bhagavatam Dharman Shikshet Gurvatma daye Amayaya Anuvritya Yaish Tushyet Atmatmadohari. So, in what mood we should hear from, the sadhus, from the Vaishnavas, from Sri Guru. So that mood is described in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. One takes such personalities as one's self. Guru Atma Dhaivataha. As one's self and as one's worshipable deity, one then goes and hears Bhagavatam with that mood. As I described before, you take someone, as oneself, doesn't mean we work very hard for ourselves. If we were speaking, we never space out when we speak, right? There's no question of spacing out. We are like, what is all this amrita coming out? On things like that. So just as you would hear like that if you were speaking, taking the Guru as oneself, you hear Guru like that. Everything he says is amrita, even when it's a chastisement, even when it's instruction or a service he's rendering. One takes it all as nectar. Hearing in that way, you hear the Bhagavatam, amayaya anuvritya yaish, without any duplicity and with full faith. Then Krishna, being very much satisfied with that person, atmatmado hari, he gives his very self to such person. He gives his very self to that person. So this is the power. The Lord's reciprocation is very sweet. But in order to taste the sweetness of the Lord's reciprocation, we need the help of sadhu sangha to shower down the nectar of harikatha, by which our intelligence can be awakened and we can abandon material desires. Then we can taste the sweet aspect of the Lord's reciprocation. Otherwise, the other aspect of the Lord's reciprocation keeps us as poor men, dissatisfied. He is reciprocating at all times. But if we don't have the doorway of bhakti, the association of sadhus, then we don't get to experience the sweetness, the sweet aspect of the Lord's reciprocation. We experience the aspect of the Lord's reciprocation by which we remain poor. Dina Vatsala. Krishna is the deliverer of the poor. We remain poor in the form of so much dissatisfaction. So we're experiencing any dissatisfaction in Krishna consciousness, then we have to go back to the basics. How am I doing? How am I hearing in the association of devotees? That is the basic platform. Then, if I'm experiencing one devotee came Sunday feast, he was telling me how he was so much feeling dissatisfied. I cannot say who. He's a very sweet person. Like when you see him, it's like seeing Advaita Charan, Ankit Verma. When you see him, you just feel like light and happy and nice, just by seeing him. There's other devotees also like that. But he was saying how dissatisfied he was feeling. So it is a question of this point. Krishna is reciprocating with you, but you might be getting the reciprocation by which you are left a poor fellow. So you have to go back to the basics. What is the basics? How am I hearing Harikatha in the association of devotees? Then that time we can get the sweet aspect of the Lord's reciprocation. And that way become fully happy. So here the Prachetas are praying that even though we are so greatly fallen, you're still situated in our hearts. You're still in our hearts. So you certainly know what is our desire. And when you shall remember us, yenopaśāntir bhūtānām, when you remember the living entities, then they will become completely satisfied when you remember them. So when one Krishna remembers, so I quoted that verse already, Atmatmadohari. When one hears with the attitude, Sadhu, Guru, Vaishnava are my selves, my family. They are my family. There's so many verses. I cannot go through all the verses. You'll get bored. But the devotees, they are my very self, my family, my worshipful deities. There's another verse like that in the 11th canto. With that mood you hear from the devotees, then Krishna, he shall remember you. That person he will remember, and when Krishna remembers such a person, their heart becomes completely satisfied. And one's life becomes completely blissful. So that is the glory of hearing Harikatha in the association of sadhus. If there is any unhappiness experienced in Krishna consciousness, then it has to go down to this point. And only the problem is there. That is the root cause of the problem. So we should always blissfully hear Harikatha in the association of sadhus, then our life becomes completely auspicious. Anyone wants to say anything? Yes, Ruth.
Here the Prachetas are saying, you know what's in our heart, which means their heart is clean. Most of us, or at least I can speak from, I can't say that, you know what's in my heart, Krishna, fulfill that, that would be tough. Question is, you gave the example of Hiranyakashipu, that Krishna was reciprocating with him to that fullest extent, that on a materialistic side, and then Prahlad Maharaj, Krishna was reciprocating with him because he was a pure devotee. So recently I was asked, in the case of a mixed devotee, it seems like they're getting the best of both worlds.
Are we?
That's the observation of a person.
Okay.
Because they have material desires and Krishna is fulfilling that. They're also trying to be a devotee and they get nice reciprocation from Guru and all the devotees are so nice to them. So it seems like that's a better situation than on this side one is deprived of something. So could you shed some light on that?
Well, they say that time and truth stand together. So generally it may be experienced in the beginning that Krishna may appear to give very nice reciprocation for a mixed devotee. He fulfills material desires and he also seems to be having such nice relations with devotees and so on. But the nature of the process of devotional service is that all insincerity is exposed in due course. So Mishra Bhakti means insincerity is there. Because you cannot say, I have desire to serve and a desire to exploit simultaneously. That is insincere. That is, you cannot light logwood. You cannot light logwood at the same time pouring water on it. That is not possible. So similarly, one cannot say I have the desire to exploit and the desire to serve simultaneously. So it may appear that Krishna is giving, both, and I'm getting the happiness of both. That is okay, because Krishna also likes to encourage. So Krishna may do like that to give encouragement, like he did with Narada Muni. Narada Muni was not completely pure according to Vishnu's estimation. He was not completely pure, but he still gave him a darshan. Why? To give him encouragement. But then he disappeared from his sight, and Narada Muni never got to see him again for the rest of his life, because he wanted Narada Muni, in his previous life as a Shudra, to come to the full platform of sincerity. So, similarly, if one shall stick to this devotional process, then Krishna will shine light on our insincerities. He does it in various ways. And at that time, one gets the real form of mercy. See, we are having, due to our bodily conception of life, we have misconceptions about mercy. So there's two types of mercy, cheating mercy and real mercy. So, for example, in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Duryodhana was doing all this diplomatic talk in order to seek the allegiance of Bhishma, and etc. So what did Bhishma do? He blew his conch shell, and Duryodhana thought, I got the mercy. Isn't it? But actually he was showing the conch shell of Vishnu to show you about to lose. He misunderstood. He misunderstood, or misunderstanding. He showed the conch shell, which is a symbol of Vishnu, to actually indicate to Duryodhana that you're about to lose the war. But he took it as, I'm getting encouraged. Bhishma is encouraging me. I have his allegiance, his support. That's called cheating mercy. He didn't get the real form. The real form of mercy is if Bhishma would have instructed him. He's a Mahajan. And said, stop your nonsense, Duryodhana. This is rascaldom. That would have been the real mercy. But he didn't want that mercy. So he got this other mercy, cheating mercy, and encouragement for his nonsense. So Krishna may also give like that, a type of cheating mercy by which one feels initially encouraged. But if one is sincere enough means somehow he sticks on. He sticks on somehow or other. Then the nature of bhakti is that it will root out all traces of insincerity. And at that time, you will see the incompatibility of the desire to exploit and the desire to serve. And you have to take your pick. Are you going to be on the exploitation side? Mishra Bhakti means that also. Or are you going to be on the side of service? So when someone shall be thinking like that, it just means insufficient purification. So therefore insufficient vision of the actual reality. You may be being cheated by Krishna. That cheating is also nice. When Krishna cheats, it gives maybe a little encouragement. But if we are sincere enough, we stick on, then everything shall be exposed. That time you make your decision. So therefore I said time and truth stand together. If you can stick to the process of bhakti in due course of time, only the truth can stand. So what is the truth? Pure devotional service. And anything that is untruth, including Mishra Bhakti, gets destroyed. And that is the nature of the process of devotional service. So that's what I can say for the devotee. Yes, Prabhu? Sorry, I'm not the most. The real part of the class is questions and answers. And we can go on blabbering on and on. But
I was thinking about wealthy devotees and poor devotees. When we were in Jagannath Puri, there was this man, he invited our traveling party to his house, and very, very opulent house, and then he gave every devotee a package with prasadam and money, and then some devotees had mixed feelings about that, and they say, wow, this guy's so wealthy. But then I've heard that, Krishna can give all wealth, and they're not misusing it or anything like that. And this is kind of has something to do with what you're saying about how people are situated. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yes, Prabhupada in a few purports before, he also told that he can give all opulence to the mature devotee, and to the immature devotee he takes everything away. Anyway, Krishna can do as he likes. So he may give, he may not give, but that is not important for the devotee.
We shouldn't have that hankering, though.
No.
Prabhupada was in one wealthy man's house, and I was reading that he was praying to Krishna that he wouldn't be attracted to that. So for Prabhupada having to pray that he wouldn't be attracted to wealth, I was thinking, well, he was beyond that anyways. But then here I'm hearing that he has to pray to Krishna that he won't be attracted to the wealth.
Yes, devotees set up example. That is the general way we should understand. And the other way we should understand is devotees are very humble. So they're not proud thinking that they are beyond, no one can touch me. That is our position. No one, I am beyond the modes of material nature now. Jivan Mukta, liberated soul, even though in the material world no one can touch me. But a real devotee is always understanding his dependent position on Krishna. So we heard this story many times. Prabhupada gave a class about how the pure devotee can never fall down. Then he was coming on, or maybe it was a morning walk, and he came back from the morning walk, and he was praying to Krishna, may I not fall down. So one devotee was, by the altar, may you not fall down? What you just told me? The pure devotee never fall. So he went down and he went to Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, you just said that a pure devotee can never fall down. But I see that you're praying to Krishna that may you not fall down, so I created a doubt. And Prabhupada said, now you know why a pure devotee can never fall down. Because he always praying to Krishna, may I never fall down. That's how a pure devotee never falls down. We don't pray to Krishna, we're like, Krishna, I'm already at the stage of asakti, so I don't need to worry about fall down now, so I'm ready for bhava. You can give it, maybe day after tomorrow you give it, I'm ready, So that is the devotee thinking like that. Then Krishna says, Maya, take him out, I'm ready, nonsense. But a devotee, he always feels himself dependent on Krishna, that at any moment I can fall down. Even if he's completely pure, same. They're praying, the Prachetas are praying the mood of a fallen soul. Actually, what was their prayer? Their prayer after this, they say, Krishna, you know what's in our heart. The next series of verses, Krishna say, well, speak it anyway. I know that I know what's in your heart. But you speak it anyway. And what did they pray for? They pray for the association of devotees. And that association, I will be always protected from my fallen situation. Narottam Das Thakur says like that also. He says, in the association of sadhus, what can lust and anger do? In the association of sadhus, if we're doing properly, what can lust and anger do? So they're praying like fallen souls, we're very much fallen, and you know what is in our heart, you know how contaminated we are, they're praying in that mood. Therefore, we pray for the association of your devotees. In that way, we always be protected from our fallen situation. So this is how we can understand. Devotee sets up example, how we should pray. We should not be thinking, I'm so advanced and beyond. Any moment we can fall down. We are very tiny devotees, and we've seen powerhouse devotees in our movement, like powerhouse. They were influencing whole countries. We can barely influence one individual. Rather we preach to them, they go away. Isn't it? Rather we preach to them, they go away. That is our power. How to kick everyone out of the Hare Krishna movement. That is our power. We know how to keep the temples empty. But these devotees in the past, they were so powerful. People were coming to the temples in swarms, thousands, so many, and they fell down. So what to speak of some small-time devotees like us? We should never think we are beyond the influence. No matter how good, we may have very good sadhana, we're doing everything according to the book, according to the regular principles, but still you can fall down. Even you were doing all that very nicely, still you can fall down. That is the situation. So the Prachetas, they understand their precarious situation, so they pray for the association of devotees. Let me always be, even if I'm in the body of an insect also, some other species of life, let me have the association of devotees, that way I can be protected. That is the only hope, especially in this age of Kali. Definitely. So thank you very much for tolerating my discussion. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.